All right, welcome back again. This is going to be a really good one. You're either going to want to share this video, but there's some people who just won't watch a video. Especially they'll see, oh, it's about 30 minutes. I don't want to watch a video. So there are two articles you may want to go to the blog, copy and paste, and send to your non-believers, your groaners, your whiners. Nothing's changing. Everything's the same. It's been 20 years. We're still here. Yeah, it has been 20 years, but there's no way anyone can say things aren't different. The simple fact that they're electronic, that I think they have almost half the people now on electronic payments, that's different. You can't deny that. The government's better. I'm not saying it's great, but it's better. You can't deny that. There's a lot of things have happened. But, if you just want to be blind to that and just sit and wallow in your pity and say, no, nothing's changed, well, that's fine. Do that. But there's lots of evidence to the contrary. All right, so the blog is myfxbuddies.blogspot.com, plus wherever you are looking or listening to this, if there's a more open info, intro, description, some type of button like that, click on that, another box will open, and the link to the blog will be there. And later this week, rss.com will be back up. It's down for now, for me. Let's see, rumble.com, my FX Buddies, Apple Podcasts, my FX Buddies, Spotify.com has audio and video content, my FX Buddies. So that's where I post everything. I even own myfxbuddies.com. It just doesn't go. I didn't do something right, and I've been saying, I think for 2 years now, I'm going to change it, correct it, but I haven't. But maybe this will be the year that I change it and then watch will RV, right? Anyway, all right, let's see. I think that's it, right? Okay, so let's get into it. Oh, it is Sunday. And yes, I have the nerve to be watching football while I'm doing this because I want to do it now. I won't be able to do it later. It's Sunday, January 12th, 2025. All right. This, if only this, this is the best article of the day, maybe even the last couple of months. Now, I will say, I would rather see this coming from Aaliyah Locke, but this is Safwan Qusay, and he's an economist, but he's been prevailing. They interview him a lot. He's on the 30-minute talk shows at night. In fact, they actually ran this on TV on Friday. And I was like, dang, I wish I knew what he was talking about. But there was nothing. Then no articles until today. Well, even what they were doing was sometimes they do these 10 or 15 minute news. Oh, look at that. CNBC does it. If you watch CNBC, Bloomberg does it. They'll have I'm Catherine Moore, and these are the headlines of the hour, right? Something like that. And then someone comes in, but they don't do that. But what they do is they show snippets of the most important news or whatever. And there were three, I'm not sure what, but because you can tell when the editing, right? There were three snippets that they were showing in their little news headline thing of this information. So here we go. This is the article, this is one of the articles I think you're going to want to share. Economist, the central bank's policy is moving towards globalizing Iraqi banks. That's what we need, right? We need them to go global. We know they're already outside of Iraq, right? If you have a city bank in your area, you can buy dinar at Citibank right now, today. Well, not right now because it's Sunday, but and then there's others. I just don't know any of them, but I do know Citibank has been pretty consistent with selling it. All right. So then there's the same title, and that there is Safwan Qusay. Now, I didn't bold anything in here because I want you to read the entire article. See how many times the word globally, globalizing, okay? But I will read it because, I know some of you just don't have time or whatever. All right, economic expert Safwan Qusay confirmed that the central bank's policy is moving towards globalizing Iraqi banks while stressing that it will contribute to raising the status of these banks globally. Qusay said in an interview, the central bank's policy is moving towards consolidating the issue of globalizing Iraqi banks, and the process of ending dealings with the electronic platform will contribute to accepting local banks that have the ability to provide guarantees and international compliance conditions with international correspondent banks. And I think there's 13 that we know of, right now that are doing this. He added that these correspondent banks can carry out the process of changing the Iraqi dinar to any global currency immediately. Let me read that again. These correspondent banks can carry out the process of changing the Iraqi dinar to any global currency. And for more than 1 million banks around the world. Now, I don't know about that. He's saying that. I think that's the goal, right? I don't know. But anyway, and there is a possibility to develop the performance of other banks in order to succeed in the international acceptance process. And there is still a possibility to import capital from different countries in the world and re-inject it into the local environment in the form of grants in different investment portfolios, and thus the possibility of achieving the goals of the central bank in the matter of development. He pointed out that the central bank will move from the issue of accepting local banks internationally to the issue of participating in the development process, and this will certainly contribute to achieving part of the government program's goals in employing the unemployed and in forming productive Iraqi in forming productive Iraqi capital, especially since a portion of Iraqis own Iraqi dinars outside the banking system. And whenever we start the issue of convincing them to trust Iraqi banks, we will have new doors to operate this monetary mass. And they did show, and I was hoping I could get pictures of it. They had several, at least 3 different banks open. I mean, grand openings with the confetti, balloons. They have cars parked outside. Like, I don't know if they're raffling them off or they're just saying, here, look at this brand new car. You could qualify for a loan to get, right? So they're popping these banks open left and right, which is good. Okay. Yeah. So I just read that. That's the paragraph we just got done reading. He stressed that this step will contribute to raising the status of Iraqi banks globally, meaning that they will succeed in the process of having a name in international financial transfer operations, and gradually confidence between banks will be strengthened. And there is what is called credit cover. That's a new term. For them, right? That is what is called credit cover between Iraqi banks and international banks, and the level of confidence will be reflected in the credit cover. He pointed out, whenever there are transfers and coverage at acceptable credit levels, this level may rise so that we succeed in the process of having Iraqi banks that are accepted internationally. And this is a step that does not exist, as Iraqi banks, especially public ones such as Rafedan and Rashid, have withdrawn from international financial transfers since the 80s. Wow, of the last century. Pointing out that rehabilitating these banks, especially, now it says TPI, but I think it means TBI. But whatever, right? It's a bank, can contribute to our having international acceptance for international correspondent for these banks. That is awesome. That is very much what we want. So clearly, they're not totally done with that, but coming out saying this on TV over and over is a great thing. Introducing them to terms like credit cover. What was the other one? There was one other one. But so remember, I think it was yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. Also, there was a reminder that I think sometime during this month, the banks have to be capitalized to 450, billion dinars? Million dinars? I'm not sure, but there is a number that banks who want to be taken seriously have to be capitalized by. So is that part of the credit cover? I don't know. So you see how they just let out a little bit at a time? And that's because these are new concepts. So yes, some of you have been waiting for 20 years, 23 years, right? So think about them, the Iraqis over there, when they last had banking prior to 2003, maybe they had debit cards, maybe the elite had credit cards, but it was still mostly cash, very crooked, very corrupt, things done by hand, record keeping by hand. Just so think of all the changes that have happened, and now they are just high speed whipping it on them. ATMs, debit cards, point of sale machines, buying bonds, forex trading, crypto, right? They're just putting all this stuff out there. And so yeah. So that's one for the record books. Keep that. There was one other thing. So also remember the Jordanian banks and some of the other Gulf banks are already ahead of the local Iraqi banks. And so that's what they're trying to do now, is get the level of trust, acceptance, probably competency, right? On par with the global banks. But there it is in black and white. They are going global. The dinar can be transferred to any currency. So, all right. All right. And so the next thing, speaking of ATMs, central bank renews directive to spread and expand financial services and ATMs. Now, I did bold some of this because it's, you know, just saying something, reiterating something that was already said. But this is actually from the CBI. Central Bank of Iraq renewed on Sunday a directive to banks and non-banking financial institutions to spread and expand their financial services in areas that lack the presence of various services for bank card holders. You see that? So they have to have accounts. They have to have accounts, which means their eyeballs are scanned, their fingerprints are taken, full-on pictures are taken of them, and possibly it may be a requirement for them to have their national ID card too. If it's not now, it will be, trust me. All right, so the next paragraph, here we are, right here. The next paragraph, the central bank said in a statement that the bank is working with its strategy to provide various services to bank cardholders by expanding the spread of cash delivery outlets. Now, why is that happening? If they're going cashless, they want them to use debit cards, right? But we know, and they know, half of the people are going to still be cash. They're not going to give up on their cash overnight, which is a good thing. So look at that. The spread of cash delivery outlets and through all available channels, including ATMs and point-of-sale cash payment devices, as well as authorized exchange companies, electronic payment company outlets, and point-of-sale electronic payment devices spread throughout Iraq. And remember, Sudani said he wanted that done by July. He wants everywhere in the country to be as modernized bank-wise, right? Bank service-wise as the Baghdad area. The statement added, the central bank confirms in its circulars that included directing banks and non-banking financial institutions to spread and expand their financial services in areas that lack the aforementioned services. He continued, the bank seeks to develop these services by establishing the latest infrastructure for financial products and services in Iraq and improving them continuously, calling for submitting inquiries and complaints, if any, through the following link. And I meant to not have that there, but it is there. Whatever. Okay, so this is the article that's in the news. This is notice that's on the CBI website. The central bank is working to provide various services to bank card holders. And there's their little image. And there's less detail here, but it pretty much says the same thing. And look at this. Currency smuggling. Central bank punishes 10 Iraqi banks due to foreign transfer violations. So, already, they're getting them. And so, it's not funny. I mean, but it just goes to show you that they had to have seen the process change. Procedure. The procedure changes. I'm sure they see Ernst & Young or K2I or whoever, Oliver Waymer. They know there's changes, but yet they still try to get away with smuggling. So they're saying 10. Could it be more? Of course. But the fact that they caught them, they put this on the news. Hopefully this will build confidence in the people, right? So yeah, what habits are hard to break, right? So yeah, so you could read that if you like. It just says that. And I'm not sure why that is. See the formatting there? But this is all one article. To this last quotation mark is all one article. All right. So let's see. So the rest of these are in my opinion, not as important as those two that I just read you. But let's see. Former Member of Parliament, Iraq is facing an economic disaster, and the solution lies in two urgent steps. So at least he gives solutions, right? He complains, but then he says he gives solutions. They must adopt administrative streamlining and not inflate the financial budget due to the demands of some political parties that benefit from the budget as an investment or a source of income. And so those are the two things. Don't give adopt administrative streamlining and don't inflate the budget. Speaking of budget, Parliament met today and they did not meet. They didn't do a thing. And there's one article, it may be here, but even if it's not, one of the members of Parliament said they adjourned the session even before all the people got there. It was strange, and he was frustrated. So who knows what's going on? And they do have Monday's schedule out, but will they get to it? Who knows? So I'll report. I'll probably do a podcast tomorrow. If there's at least 3 things to talk about, I'll do one. But if there's just one thing to talk about, then I won't do it. Okay, the dollar is monopolized by foreign banks, indications of the central bank's failure to control exchange rates. So this is another financial and economic affairs, Nasir al-Tamimi, and he's complaining. So he probably is, well, remember, that's why I pointed out, a lot of people were complaining that the Jordanian banks had the lion's share of the dollar trade. But we must trust them. We must believe they're not smuggling, and what's the other thing? Money laundering. So, yeah. So if you want to read this, you can. And he says the challenges must be avoided through real reforms. So, all right. Now, this is a different article, and I didn't bold this. The whole thing's bolded, and I don't know. I did try to unbold it, but it didn't work. Anyway, so the central bank successfully completes its external transformations, statement on strengthening balances and stability. So it doesn't. It's kind of like a little summary of, okay, we stopped the old auction, we stopped the auctions the way they were. Now we're doing the new thing they're doing, which they did again today. Oh, who is that? Hold on. Alright, sorry about that. Okay, let's see. Now, because it was bolded, I couldn't, so right here it says they stopped the old auctions. It was fully achieved in the last week of this year, but 2024, right? And let's see. Here they talk about the new transfer methodology. So right here is consistent with international practices. So see, it's kind of like what they said in the first article that I read to you. And here they talk about who they can transfer the currencies to. And here it's limited to those ones that we're familiar with. But Safwan Qusay said any currency, right? So it kind of says the same thing, but it's a little different. So if you want to read that, you can. it talks about they'll continue to use modern methods in managing monetary policy in line with its essential role in achieving financial stability and its position among central banks in the region and the world. So another good article, but like I said, not as good as the other. So it's worth reading, maybe even sending to your people. And here's my one commercial. Buy me a coffee. The wording is a link. The QR code is there. Thank you to those of you who have. Here. Oh, okay. Here's the article. So a Kurdish member of parliament said postponing today's session is a shock, and the parliament presidency bears responsibility. So there was a lack of quorum, so they just bounced. And not even for later in the day. They just canceled it. We'll be back tomorrow. All right. So I really hope they keep the budget schedules on there. But they already had 10 items, which is a lot. Okay. So here's another article. This is not, oh, it is Mohammed Saleh. Okay. And he's explaining how important the Ascada, I don't know how you say that. That's how I say it. System is. But look, it relies on cloud digital technology. Okay. So guess what? Tomorrow, it's not funny. Iraqi Customs electronic payment service will be temporarily suspended tomorrow. But for a good reason. For 2 hours for the purpose of making updates to their system. So I think that's interesting. But yeah, so this is Mohammed Saleh announcing to the people the importance and what it means for them to be connected to this. And they also did announce that more border crossings were connected. Also, Sudani to pay official visit to UK tomorrow, Monday. All right, let's see. Look at this. I think this is hilarious. Iranian government calls for direct negotiations with the T-man, face to face. They're like, no more of this passing messages. Sudani comes here, Kahani goes there. No. We want to meet with you personally, face to face. So I thought that was interesting. Will it happen? Who knows? But remember I said the new president at least is talking a kinder, gentler talk than Khomeini, right? But yeah, so if you want to read that, I think you should. And then let's see what else. Okay. Oh, here, this is interesting. A hostage deal, very close. And look, the current president and president-elect race against time because there's how many days. So Jake Sullivan is involved with that and some others. Who knows if it's going to happen or not. I think that's the last. Yeah, so that's the last article. Now, let me just show you some things. There's a lot going on with the salaries. And I'm not even going to post it or talk about it. But I did want to just show you. Come on. Look at this guy. Doesn't he look like... Look, I have to have fun. I have to entertain myself reading this boring stuff. But when I see him, I think of the actor that played Herman Munster. If you know who Herman Munster is. Not, Herman Munster with the makeup and everything, but the actor that played him, he reminds me of him. Anyway, so here's these conflicting articles about the budget. Salary crisis, mutual accusations, and major financial challenges facing Iraq. What is happening in the Ministry of Finance? is the implementation of policies and agenda against the region. Let's see, there's one more, I think. Member of Parliament, Parliamentary Finance. Financing salaries and investment projects for 2025 is conditional on the price of oil. So, see, there's all this back and forth, and who really cares? Here's another one. State administration stresses implementation of government program commitments. No political stance on regional salaries file. So I'm not even going to post. It's all kabuki theater. I don't know if you know who that is. That's something that we say. There's another one. Democratic Party responds to Ministry of Finance statement and questions its innocence in the salary crisis. So something's definitely going on with those salaries. They haven't paid. Not everyone's been paid. Some people are paid, but not everyone. Some people are owed 4 months of money. Some people just 1 month. So it's crazy. So does it have anything to do with the RV? Maybe it does. Maybe it's the rate. Maybe they're waiting for the rate to change. But to look like they're doing work, they have to keep having all these meetings, right? Because remember, all this news is for the citizens of Iraq, not us, right? So they have to look like they're trying to run their country. The Kurds have to look like they're trying to solve a problem because their people are like, hey, I need more money. Where's my money? Right? So yeah. But anyway, good things, good things. Maybe there'll be better things this week, but definitely nothing will happen tomorrow if Sadani is off in the UK, and I don't know how long he's going to be there, but I know some people think he has to be in country, not out of country or whatever. So thank you for listening, giving me time on your Sunday. And accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals and pay all your bills. And I wanted to say, if there's people that leave what you may consider a negative comment, don't worry. Don't worry. It's their right to feel that way. It's just if there's any name calling or personal attacks, I delete those comments anyway. At least I try to. But yeah, if they're just seemingly negative, it's okay. Don't, just let them. That's the beauty of free speech in our country, right? So just let them say whatever they want to say. Eventually, someone's going to be proven right, right? We shall see. So yeah, okay, so that, wherever you are enjoying this content, if there's a follow, like, subscribe, join, whatever type of button like that, click that, do whatever, swipe, click, whatever, right? Because I don't update regularly. So if you activate that button and all things work as they should, when I do upload, you will be notified. All right. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame. Share, share, share. Remember, share this video because those are 3 really good articles. And if they don't see how good they are, then they just don't want to, right? Especially that first one. Or go to the blog, myfxbuddies.blogspot.com, and copy and paste into an email and say, hey, read this. All right? Okay. Until next time.